Hi everyone, and welcome to another Lift Up. We can't quite see the up there, but it's there, Lift Up. I'm Julie, and today's Lift Up session is, oh God, I'm so passionate about this subject, is business, corporate business, any business. So passionate about it because I spent half my life in there, and I love the creativity of it, the potential of it. It was. I actually, this lift up all started, although I've kind of been doing this, as I said in an earlier video, most of my life. It actually came to this work that I go out and do workshops and mentoring and speaking as a result of being made redundant from my last corporate job. I was an alliance manager across Europe, Africa, and Middle East. And I had nurtured this alliance, these two global partners. I nurtured them, loved them, protected them. Oh my God, helped develop them with the teams, of course, across the areas I looked after. And oh, my heart was so in that. Because do you know why? Because I could see their potential, their value together. Now, that doesn't mean I didn't have to navigate, become like a part-time mediator, and coach and problem solver and everything else along the way. Because when you're dealing with two teams from two companies in the different cultures within the countries, it's not always going to go smooth, is it? It really isn't. And I could see these two as two halves of one coin. The problems happened when either side thought they were the whole coin and the other wasn't as valuable as them, which always happens. This is what happens in work, isn't it? My bit's the powerful bit, yours is less than mine. I'm the one going out and getting this. You know how it works if you work in business and corporate. It's all part of it. But what I'm here to talk about today is that vibration, that energy, that frequency you have as an organization, because your organization is made up of the collective energy, including yours, who's ever watching this, the collective energy of all the people who are working for you. And that can be anything, can't it? When times are good, it could be a very good, positive, collaborative culture, energy. And if things are not, if times are hard, especially if there's any redundancies, I know that from my own experience, the energy can lower, and then more fear comes in, more fear, which restricts, which can start to close down, because people then go into that protective, it's a human instinct to go into that self-protect. I need to protect myself here. I need to do what I need to do to keep my head down, batten down the hatches, and then keep safe. I get that. I get that. People have got livelihoods, and families and all of that. So I get that. But actually, the paradox is that at the times of those difficulties, and all times actually, but especially at the times of those difficulties, is when you need your people to be at their most positive, collaborative, high energy, high frequency selves, because that's what's going to show you the way. Yeah. And I'll put a little bit of context around that. When I was working for a computer company, AST Computers, I'm pretty sure they're not around now. But they'd won, as I joined them, they'd won a massive, oh my God, just before I joined, they won a massive, I'm not going to say which name, but a massive UK high profile account. And it was in the press and all of this, that they'd won this huge achievement, because it was like David and Goliath, because the competition really had got the whole thing stitched up. They got all the business. So when AST came in, New Kids on the Block. There was everything to play for. Yeah, everything. So they were going after to try and get as much business as possible. That's the positive thing. But then problems started to emerge, challenges. Won't bore you with the details, but just practical, everyday challenges that can happen that can get in the way of customer satisfaction. And so if you think about the energy between you and a customer, think about that vibration, that frequency, keeping that high, win-win, mutual benefit, both in it together, both appreciating each other. That's obviously the optimum thing to go for, isn't it? It's mutual value. So with this one, it had plummeted, and it came to the point where this high profile customer said to the company AST I worked for, we're evaluating someone else. We're evaluating another manufacturer. They were honest. And, the sales director said, well, give us time. Give us some time to just try to sort this out. So the customer agreed to 6 months. And I was asked to go on it. And do you know, my first instinct was, yes, I know this customer, because I looked after some partners who sold into it. I know this customer. My heart, honestly, I could feel my heart being called to it. I really can. It's like, your heart's an intelligence all of its own in there. It's got its own brain within there. And my heart was saying, God, you've got to do this. You've got to do it. And then I guess my mind was going, oh, but what if it's lost? What if you are the one that's on the account when they close the door? And that's what everybody's advice to me, by the way. Don't do it. You're mad. Don't take it. You'll be the one that'll be remembered. Oh, God, I had some sleepless nights. But in the end, I said, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. So that example that I'm saying of holding that frequency as high as you can in such difficult circumstances where all spotlight is on you. You could say almost like 3 marks and you're out. But I didn't feel that. I just completely loved. And that's the feeling I've always had with the customers that I worked on, this feeling that I'm contributing to their business. It's not a one-way street, it's a two-way street. I'm contributing to the business, and I want to help them to make their business successful, because I might only be selling kit, but that kit is playing its part within their company, and it's helping them to provide a service to their customers. So if I can make that as good an experience as possible and work in unity with my colleagues, where we all share the success, where we all contribute and opinions and everything, that it's that collaborative approach, then to me it's joyful. It's absolutely joyful. So long story short on this, it's not just me, we turn that account around so fast to such, and it really was like David and Goliath, to such a degree that the competition was losing so much business. They asked to meet me to ask how we were doing it. And would I go work for them, which I didn't want to do. So that was just the most incredible time where I was shown that how powerful that heart, passion, energies. And I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know resonance. I didn't know about frequency back then. I didn't know that what you're putting out from here is going out and attracting circumstances and pulling them into you. I didn't know any of that. I was just doing what came natural. And you know what? When you stick with that, so then what happened? Samsung bought us, took us over. And the big products we sold was back then, because I'm talking 98, 99. The big products 97, 98, anyway, whatever, was desktop PCs and some laptops, but it was it was desktop PCs back then. So Samsung comes in, buys us, AST, just as I've been awarded a £5 million order for desktop PCs comes in and, decides that they're going to pull out of desktop manufacturing and focus, which they were really good at, very good at, laptop PCs. So it was almost like, oh my God. Do you know my thought? I swear to you, my thought wasn't the business, because we couldn't take that business. I wouldn't have taken that business, not knowing if we could fulfill it, let alone have the parts to maintain it after. There's no way I was going to take that business. But going to see the customer and break that news was absolutely heartbreaking for me. And why it was heartbreaking? Because of the trust that we'd built, that trust that we'd built up. And all I could do was apologize. It wasn't my fault. I didn't know this was happening. All I could do was apologize and thank them for the trust and the chance that they'd given us. And I made the commitment to them. I will, because I knew I was going to leave that company then. I couldn't stay after that. I was going to stay there until everything had been sorted, everything had been fulfilled, everything had been wrapped up. I made that commitment to them that I will not leave until that happens. And you can imagine at that time, because so many people were being made redundant and so many people were leaving. There was a lot of jumping ship because, of course, the company was going down to a fraction of the size that it was. And here's again how it works. Heart energy, love, care, the resonance that you put out. I didn't need to look for a job because companies started approaching me, and one of those was IBM, because they knew of the work that I'd done on that. Said it was a high profile account. They knew of the work that I'd done, and so they asked me to go and work for them, and no surprise, they put me back on that account, but working for IBM. And the customer welcomed me with open arms. And it was, really good. And I stayed there for a while, but then my path took me on. But I'm making these points as real life illustration to put context to what I'm saying. That heart energy, we have got light now lighting up everything on this earth, on this planet. We're in this time of frequency, of higher consciousness. We're here to create from that. That's why we're here as souls in this life, to bring in that higher awareness, that creativity, that consciousness, that unity, that heart and mind in union together through that absolutely incredible manifestation power, and how I've just relayed it to you was everyday, ordinary stuff, but the extraordinary within the ordinary. So your people, you yourself are all part of this, all going through your own awareness, changes. It's very chaotic out there. We know that. There's lots of things happening. This is a time to absolutely go into your own discernment, into your own sovereignty, into your own power, but coming from that place that actually wants the highest good, the highest for all. Can you imagine that? In an organization? Can you imagine that with your customers? Can you imagine that with your partners? You are working with the most powerful energy there is. And when you know that, you can go through your ups and downs from that place. From that place of you don't quite know how it's going to go, but it feels right what you're doing. And when you can walk into the unknown, like I've had to go through many of that, knowing that this just feels right. Yeah, of course you do your check and balances. I get all of that. The mind's here for a reason. The mind's, looking at the numbers that are coming in, looking at what's going out. I get all of that. But when you're coming from that powerful place that brings meaning, that brings purpose, that brings creation, that brings unity, that brings positivity. There is nothing that cannot be healed, repaired, whatever, you know? So I know I've waffled on a lot on this one, and I do apologize. Probably nobody left. But anyway, this is really important to me because there's such opportunities there. And this is where, I mean, when I left IBM in 2000, I set up my own consultancy to go in and do works where companies were looking to either develop accounts, again, try to retrieve some accounts, bring teams together, whatever, you know. And I love that because, again, it's working. What I was taking in with me was this, although I didn't have this as this at that time. But this is exactly what I was taking in with me. And building trust with the teams that I was working with and bringing that collaborative and that inspiration and that excitement and that, yeah, we can do this. Let's go and try and do something we haven't done before. Oh, it's so exciting. It's so exciting. And you know, that changes the whole culture, you know? So yes, if I can help anyone in business, please, I'll put my email in here. There's my website in there as well. And yeah, I'd love to hear from you. And if you've got any comments, I'd love to hear any comments back. Please, as I said, take what resonates, bin what doesn't. This is your experience in life. I'm just here to share my experience. If we agree and share and resonate on some things, beautiful. And if we don't, that's okay. That's perfectly okay. So thank you so much. I've loved doing this, and I will see you next time. Oh, if you do like this, please share it. Please send it. I'd love to get feedback from all levels in business, actually. It'd be really great. And yeah, we'll just finish off. I remember somebody saying to me, "Yeah, Julie, you've got fantastic soft skills." I was like, what does that even mean? What does that mean, soft skills? And then I realised it's almost like, well, yeah, I think they were saying you're more gentle, you're more this, where, and when. Are you kidding, right? Do you know how fierce the heart can be when it wants to achieve something? You think of a lioness with her cubs, right? You aren't going to mess with her, right? Their heart has got the stamina, has got the passion to go after what it wants, but it's doing it. It's doing it from that higher place of what's good for all. It's doing it in collaboration, yeah. It's doing it in the most positive way, all inclusive. That's what it's doing. You know, it's building relationships. It's building trust, which are the absolute foundation of any business. So if that's soft skills, I love them. And I'd love to share them. All right, my loves, thank you so much for listening to this. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.